Sup nerds, today we have Rapidmon Alliance versus Leviamon X. Chris starts us off, hatches Sunamon, evos into Gabumon, then plays Wisdom Training for 2, scratches top 2. Adds the Wisdom. Ben hatches Neoromon, evos into Terrier. And plays Willis for 3 to choke Chris to 1. Chris just plays another Wisdom Training. Obviously adds the one of the Gabu X. And then Ben just activates Agility Training, scratches top 2 himself. He reveals a one of and adds it. LOL. And then Chris just plays another Wisdom Training. Adds the 7th Lightning. And then Ben just plays a Willis and gives Chris 2. Seems to be a game of chicken going on here. Alright, so Chris promotes. Evos into Gabu X for 0. Triggers effect. Scourges top 4. Can add the X Antibody. Now he has to trash a card since he added a card. Okay, and then triggers Suno to draw a card. Evos into Garu for 2. Triggers his effect to draw 1, trash 1. Trashes the 7th Lightning. Evos into Garu X for 0. Triggers his effect to draw 2, trash 2. And he trashes Gabumon and Gabumon, and then gains memory. Pops Wisdom, I'm not sure what he was saving them for earlier. Evos into Drago for 1. No effect since Ben doesn't have anything in his trash. Pops another Wisdom. And Evos into Leviamon for 3 memory, for no value. If he had popped the other Wisdom Training, he would have choked Ben to 1. Alright, so Ben promotes. Triggers Terriermon to play Lotmon for 1 memory. Ben pops Agility and taps 1 Willis to evo into Rapidmon. Rapidmon suspends Leviamon, minuses it by 5k for the turn. Then he triggers Lotmon, gives Rapid Alliance, swings over the Leviamon for 9k. And no effect. Chris attempts to trigger the Garurumon X Antibody Protection effect, but that does require you to be a Garurumon or Omnimon, and Ben reminds him of that, so he just dies. Then Ben taps the other Willis and evos into Rapid for 3 memory to choke Chris to 1. And hatches Sunamon. Evos into Gabumon. Yeah, Ben was just gonna wait for Chris to do that. Chris should have forced Ben to do something else first. And then he could have promoted and evoed into Levia. So activates Perp Memory Boost, adds Leviamon. Evos into Terriermon and Raising. Alright, so Swing Security minuses 4k to Security Digimon. Survives. And then Swing Security, 12k effective for 1 check. Checks a Bite and Crush. Chris discards Leviamon. And Chris targets the bottom Rapidmon and Ben Armor Purges. And then Ben just plays Memory Blocking Terriermon to choke Chris to 1. Chris promotes. Attempts to gain memory from the Gabu, and Ben reminds him about Terriermon's effect. Chris pops Wisdom. Evos into Octomon for 0 for some reason. Now he has to play a token to his side of the field suspended, a Fujitsumon token. And then this is something you probably only do once versus a Rapidmon player. He attempts to swing over the Lotmon, and Chris just forgets to trigger his Gabumon effect and subsequently his Sunamon effect here. He will remember in a moment, but he should have done this before the counter timing. So Ben is like, up, Blast Evo, unsuspend, and block. And right here, Chris remembers his when attacking effects. Draw 1, trash 1 from Gabu. And then draw 1 from Suno. And it dies. Yeah, that is something that happens to people the first time they play against Rapid .deck. If they're unfamiliar with the fact that the Blast Ace can go on top of any of their Rapids. And right here we have a first chat. Chris activates Purple Memory Boost with no purple source on the field. He has nothing but delay cards in his battle area. So this is a Chet. Neither one of them catch it. So he scorches top 4, adds Levi X. Alright, Ben promotes. Alright, and Ben taps Double Willis to event a Gargomon for free. Then uses Lopmon to give Alliance to Mega Gargo. Swing Security, triggers Alliance, taps a Gargomon, and uses Gargomon's effect to give jamming to the Mega Gargomon. So why not? Whatever. So it's 2 checks jamming, really, really big. Second check is a 7th Lightning, unfortunately. Chris trashes Warrior's Digimon to blow up the Mega Gargomon and the Gargomon, and then gains 4 memory from Ace Overflow. Or more correctly, Ben loses 4 memory from Ace Overflow. And Chris hatches Suno. Evo's Inagazi. And then Chris plays Octomon for 5. And immediately realizes that he forgot he still had that token on his field. That's why you guys should never use die as tokens in this game, because it's very easy to just lose them in the chaos that is the Mad Art. So Chris immediately realizes he has that Octomon or the Fujitsumon token on his field already, and he has to play another Fujitsumon token to his side of the field, and then cannot trigger his Biting Crush because of that. So highly recommend using actual cards so that doesn't happen. They both forgot, but Chris immediately realized after he already played the Octomon, and he doesn't want to take Zubacksies. So he passes turn for no reason. Ben hatches Neuramon. Evo's in a Terrier. And he had a Dragomon too. Like, he could have just hard played Dragomon and then triggered the Biting Crush, but he didn't want to give him too much memory. And forgot he already had a Fujitsumon token on the field. So Ben swings and then swings for game. So Ben does take game 1. By the way, if you guys enjoy this type of content, please like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. And if you're interested in the Rapidmon Alliance deck profile, link will be in the pinned comment below. And if you're interested in a Leviamon X deck profile, a link will be in the pinned comment below as well. Alright, so Chris makes Ben go first for game 2. Ben hatches Neuramon. Evo's in a Terrier. And then plays Double Typhoon, Scorches top 3. Such a good card. Adds a green Digimon and a green Tamer. Adds Mega Gargomon. Chris makes a joke covering up the green side saying he's a black card and you can't add him. Chris hatches Sunomon. Evo's in a Gabu, then plays Wisdom Training, Scorches top 2. Adds Wisdom. Activates Wisdom, Scorches top 2. Adds the Warrior Digimon this time. Alright, Ben promotes. Alright, and Ben Evo's into Rapid for 3 memory to set Chris to 2. Ben's hand is probably a little awkward here, even though we can't see it. Alright, so Chris promotes, gains memory from Gabumon. Pops Wisdom. Evo's in a Garu. Triggers Garu's effect to draw 1 trash 1. Triggers Suno to draw a card. Evo's in a Garu X for 0. Draws 2 trashes 2. Seems good. Someone needs to deck check Chris and see how many of those he's got in there. Discards Garurumon. And X Antibody. And gains a memory. Pops Wisdom. Evo's into Warrior Sidra for 1 memory. There we go. And then Evo's into Leviamon for 5. Effective Leviamon targets Rapidmon. Rapidmon armor purges and Leviamon targets again and it dies. And then he gains 1 memory. Alright, Ben hatches Neuramon. Evo's into Terriermon. Pops Double Typhoon. And double checks, make sure Chris isn't going to gain memory off this, off his stack. Plays Lopmon for free. Just making absolutely sure he doesn't get super wrecked by playing a Digimon by an effect. Then Evo's into Rapid for 4 memory and sets Chris to 3. So Chris hatches Sunomon. Evo's in a Gabu. Plays Wisdom, Scorches top 2. He adds the Wisdom. So Chris right here is going to attempt to attack, and he says out loud, "Let's see if you have it." He has already forgotten that Ben searched Mega Gargomon Ace on his first turn of the game. He for sure has one in his hand. Chris knows this, or he should know it, he just forgot. And he can Blast Evo and then suspend himself to block, and he will be 14k from his inheritables. So this is a massive punt by Chris. Just wanted to go over that. So he swings, draws one from Gabumon and trashes one. Triggers Sunamon to draw, and then triggers Gurumon to draw one, trash one again. And then attempt to attack security 13k. Ben obviously Blast Evos and then blocks, and now he's 14, and Leviamon just runs into him. Then he plays Wisdom Training, Scourge's top 2. Adds the Biting Crush. Alright, Ben promotes. Swing on him, 14k, one check. Checks the 7th Lightning, must be nice. Chris trashes Gabumon, blows up Mega Gargomon, and then Ben loses 4 memory from Ace Overflow. Alright, so Chris promotes Gabu. Eva's into Gabu X for 0. Scourge's top 4. Add no targets. Pops Wisdom. Eva's into Octo for 0, triggers Octo's effect, and Ben actually gets the Fujitsumon token this time. And let's use a real card. Yep, good call. Alright, and activates X Antibody, tucks it, and then pops Wisdom. Then he's just sorting his trash for a moment. Eva's into Warrior Seedramon for 1 memory. Swing Security. Triggers Gabumon, draw 1, trash 1. Triggers Suno, draw 1, and then triggers Warrior Seedramon. Ben plays a level 4 or lower from trash, suspended without paying the cost, and no on plays triggered. Ben plays Rapidmon back. And Chris is going to redirect and then trigger X Antibody to Evo, or trigger Leviamon X's effect to Evo and a Leviamon X from trash. And then blows up the Terriermon, and then the Warrior Seedramon blanket effect gives all of his Digimon on deletion lose 1 memory until the end of the end of Ben's turn. So he gains 2 memory off the Leviamon X deletions, 1 from running over the Rapid, 1 from blowing up the Terrier, and then gains another memory from the Octomon inheritable. And then 3 checks, survives all of them. Alright, Chris activates Biting Crush, trashes Leviamon, attempts to target the Fujitsumon token, but he does not have a level, so he cannot delete it. So nothing happens, but he does have a Biting Crush set up. So Ben hatches Nyaromon. Evo's into Terriermon. Ben activates Giant Missile for 8 and bot decks the Leviamon X. Bye-bye. And Chris hatches Sunamon. Evo's into Gazumon. Plays Drago for 7. Triggers Drago's effect to force Ben to play level 4 or lower from his trash without paying the cost. Suspended. No on plays. Ben plays Terriermon. Dragomon effect, play Gilmon. Biting Crush effects, play Leviamon. Leviamon effect, blow up the Terrier. And then he gains memory, but Ben has memory setter, so he still goes back to 3. Ben promotes Terrier. Triggers Terrier's effect. Plays Willis. Willis hatches Tanamon, and then he evos into Terriermon for 0. It's a good thing Chris doesn't have Levi X in his trash, because that could have been bad, but I'm assuming Ben was aware he did not. So he evos into Rapid by tapping Willis for 2 memory. So he taps Leviamon and Gilmon and minuses 5k on both. And Gilmon dies, obviously. So now Leviamon's 8k. So Ben swings into Leviamon for 8k and crashes. And then Armor Purges. Then plays an Agility Training, Scourge's top 2. Adds the Giant Missile. Chris promotes Gazi. Looks like he has Leviamon X in his hand. I would just Evo into it. Evo's into Dober X for 2. Triggers its effect, trashes a Dober X, and then draws from Suno. Because if he evos into it, it would blow up one of his Tamers and his Terriermon. And he has an X-Antibody card. Activates X-Antibody. He swings into the token, triggers X-Antibody, evos into Levi X. Levi X's effect gets to delete a Tamer, and then a level 3, 5, and 7. So he pops Henry and the Terrier, and then pierces through the token for 3 checks at 14, and Ben has to discard a card since the token's getting deleted. So Ben discards Terriermon, and then 2 checks, and survives both. And that's really bad. So Ben promotes. Activates Willis for 3. Willis hatches, and then he gains memory from Terriermon. Evos into Terriermon for 0. Activates Agility Training, scratches top 2. Adds HPD. Pops Agility and taps Willis to evo into Rapidmon for 0. Gains 2k from Tanimon's effect, or Tanamon's effect. He swings Security, minuses 4k on the Dober and Security Digimon. Then he is big, survives. Then he Giant Missiles the Levi X to the bottom of Chris's deck and gives him 6. Chris hatches Sunamon. Evos into Gabumon. Plays Pert Membu, scourges top 4. Adds Levi X. Activates Biting Crush, discards Levi X, and Ben Armor Purges. Alright, then Ben promotes Terrier. And Ben scoops. He doesn't have any level 4s, so he has no way of like progressing his game state from that point. And Chris is obviously just going to be able to promote and kill him. So they're going to have about a minute for game 3, so they're going to be playing very quickly. Ben goes first, hatches Neuromon, evos an Terrier, plays Agility, scratches top 2, adds the other Terrier. Chris hatches Suno, evos an Agazi. Alright, and Chris is considering hard passing or just playing a Biting Crush. So he decides to play Biting Crush, discard Leviamon, give Ben 6. Ben promotes, and Ben is turn 0. So it will be turn 0, 1, 2, 3. So they each get 2 more turns. Ben plays Lopmon for 3 memory. Plays Double Typhoon, scratches top 3. Adds the level 5 Rapid. Gives Terriermon Alliance with Lopmon's effect. Pops Agility Training, evos in a Gargo for 0. Swing on him, 2 checks, gives itself Jamming, Purple Memory Boost, and Wisdom Training. Uh-oh. That's kind of scary. So Ben's only going to have 1 more turn after this. And he plays Terriermon to give Chris 3. So Chris's hand is very awkward. He swings over the Lopmon, attempts to pop Mem Boost, but is reminded that Terriermon's a card. Then activates Biting Crush, discards X-Antibody, and blows up the Gargomon. Ben hatches Neuromon, evos into Terrier. This is Ben's last turn, so like he can't possibly win. So Chris right here says go ahead and activate Double Typhoon. And Ben trolls him by activating the delay effect and decides not to play anything. It is optional, so he just sends it to trash for no reason, just to troll Chris. Evos into Rapid for 3 memory. Blows up Gazimon. And swing on him for 6k, why not? And then plays Terriermon to give Chris 1 memory. And Chris scoops. His hand is unplayable. So it does end in a draw, but I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy seeing this kind of content. Want to come back for more. But until next time, see ya.